Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're plunging headfirst into one of the most visually explosive worlds ever put on screen, Pandora. We're going to trace the absolutely breathtaking evolution of a broken soldier, unearth some staggering corporate betrayals, and witness the ultimate, devastating clash between humanity and nature. Buckle up, guys, because this is going to be an epic ride. So, picture this. It's the year 2154, and humanity is flat out desperate. Earth is a dying, exhausted planet that's completely tapped out of resources. Enter Jake Sully. He's a paraplegic former Marine, a fundamentally broken man who's got absolutely nothing left to lose. But as we'll see, he's about to be thrust into a terrifyingly beautiful journey into the complete unknown. Part 1. A broken man on Pandora. The contrast here is just brutal. On one side, you've got Earth, desperate, decaying, and depleted. And on the other, Pandora. It's this lush, bioluminescent paradise orbiting a distant gas giant. It's perfectly habitable for its towering indigenous people, the Na'vi, but its atmosphere, it's instantly toxic to humans. It's a totally untamed, highly dangerous world. And, well, naturally, humanity has decided to invade it. $20 million. Just let that sink in. That staggering figure is the price for just 1 single kilogram of a mineral literally called unobtainium. This right here is the ruthless corporate greed driving the Resources Development Administration, or the RDA. I mean, they are totally willing to drive massive military bulldozers over a sacred alien ecosystem just to mine a space rock to solve Earth's energy crisis. Now, to get their hands on that rock safely, human scientists created the Avatar program. They engineered these incredibly complex human-Na'vi hybrid bodies that stand a towering 10 feet tall. And because Jake shares genetics with his deceased brother, he gets an absolute miracle, a second chance at walking by operating an avatar via a neural link. But there's a really dark, twisted catch. The ruthless head of security, Colonel Quaritch, promises Jake the spinal surgery he desperately wants, but only if he acts as a corporate spy. So just like that, Jake is trapped in a totally treacherous double life. Section 2. The Spy and the Princess. Right out of the gate, things go horribly wrong. Jake gets separated from his team and is relentlessly hunted by a terrifying, roaring apex predator called a Thanador. He barely survives the night before being saved by Na'vi, an incredibly fierce warrior princess of the local Omaticaya clan. Now, Na'vi is fully ready to turn him away, but then fate intervenes. These glowing seeds from the sacred tree of souls float down and literally rest on Jake. Seeing this highly auspicious sign, she spares him and takes him in. But, surviving that first night was really just the beginning. Over the next 3 intense months of assimilation, Jake's entire universe gets turned completely upside down. He learns to ride a dire horse. He scales these massive floating mountains just to bond with a flying mountain banshee. And eventually, he's formally initiated into the clan. By month 3, the unthinkable actually happens. He and Na'vi fall deeply in love and choose each other as mates. The broken corporate spy is totally gone, and in his place stands a fierce protector of Pandora. Part 3. The Fall of Hometree. Here is exactly where the tension violently snaps. Corporate Administrator Parker Selfridge loses his patience and straight up orders bulldozers to destroy a sacred Na'vi site. In this desperate act of defiance, Jake physically destroys the bulldozer's cameras to stop them. But in doing so, he makes a massive, catastrophic error. He exposes his betrayal to the ruthless Colonel Quaritch. The countdown to war has officially begun. And the consequences? Absolute devastation. The RDA initiates a massive military strike. Desperate, Jake and Dr. Grace Augustine confess their original spy mission to the clan, practically begging them to run. Instead, they're instantly branded as traitors. And then we get one of the most heartbreaking cinematic moments ever put to film. The towering ancient Hometree is completely obliterated by heavy weapons, coming down in this fiery apocalyptic crash. Chief Egutan and countless innocent Na'vi are killed in the fire and ash. At this point, everything is lost. Jake and his human allies are thrown in prison, but rogue pilot Trudy Chacon, who is completely disgusted by the military's brutality, actually breaks them out. Tragically though, during the escape, Dr. Grace Augustine is critically shot by Quaritch. The Na'vi attempts this desperate, beautiful ritual at the Tree of Souls to transfer her mind permanently into her avatar, but it's just too late. She succumbs to her injuries. As the Na'vi say, she returns to Ewa. It's a massive emotional gut punch that leaves our heroes completely shattered. Section 4. Rise of Toruk Makto. So what now? Well, to save anyone, Jake realizes he has to take a legendary, borderline suicidal risk. Step 1. Find the Toruk. That's a massive apex aerial predator that basically rules the skies with pure terror. Step 2. Risk absolutely certain death by leaping onto its back mid-air to tame it. And Step 3. Become only the 6th Toruk Makto in all of history. It is an insane, breathless gamble. But miraculously, he actually pulls it off, dropping from the sky while riding the beast. With the mighty Toruk under his command, hope is suddenly reignited. Backed by the new chief, Tute, thousands of warriors from neighboring clans unite. On the absolute eve of battle, knowing the mechanized terror they're about to face, Jake makes a desperate final prayer to the mother goddess, Iwa, at the glowing Tree of Souls, because literally everything hinges on tomorrow. Part 5. The Final War. What follows is absolute terrifying chaos. A devastating aerial and ground war erupts, but you know the native warriors with their bows and arrows are completely overwhelmed by the mechanized RDA gunships and mechs. The Na'vi suffer extremely heavy casualties. Sute falls. Trudy, our heroic rogue pilot, sacrifices herself while taking on Quaritch's massive gunship. The resistance isn't just crumbling here, it's being entirely slaughtered. It begs the question, has Awa abandoned them? It really seems like all is lost. But then, just as the humans are about to secure victory, Pandora itself fights back. The wildlife, we're talking massive armored titan Atheres and ferocious Thanadors, unexpectedly and violently swarm the battlefield, entirely crushing the human military. In that moment, Neytiri realizes the awe-inspiring truth. Awa actually heard Jake's prayer. But hold on, the war isn't over just yet. The final clash gets brutally personal. Colonel Quaritch attacks in a massive mechanized amp suit. He violently breaches the containment unit housing Jake's real body, exposing him directly to Pandora's toxic air. Jake is suffocating. He's dying. But suddenly, Neytiri arrives riding a Thanator. In this incredible heart-stopping sequence, she kills Quaritch, slaps an oxygen mask on Jake, and for the very first time, sees and touches his frail, broken human body. He truly sees her, and she sees him. The battle is finally won. The destructive RDA forces are marched right onto their ships and forever expelled from Pandora. And back at the sacred Tree of Souls, a final mystical ritual takes place. The story famously ends exactly as it began, with Jake opening his eyes. But this time, after a permanent consciousness transfer, it's his fierce, golden Na'vi eyes that snap open. He's finally home. What a phenomenal, totally adrenaline-fueled journey. But it leaves us with a really provocative, almost chilling question to ask ourselves. As humanity looks out to the stars, are we destined to be the blind conquerors of new worlds? Or can we learn to connect with them before it's entirely too late? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the worlds around you.